Elizabeth Carrington stood at the edge of the bustling train station in Montana Territory, her heart racing with hopes and dreams. As a mail-order bride, she had imagined a warm welcome and a loving husband waiting for her arrival. The endless plains stretched out before her, wild and beautiful, but she felt small and insignificant as she scanned the crowd. No familiar face greeted her, only the murmur of strangers filled the air. With each passing moment, her excitement faded, replaced by a deep sense of shame and loneliness. Elizabeth clutched her small suitcase tightly, determined not to let the tears fall. She was here to start anew, leaving behind a past that seemed filled with shadows. Little did she know that this very moment would lead her to an unexpected encounter that would change everything. As the train whistle faded into the distance, Elizabeth stood frozen, scanning the crowd with hopeful eyes. She envisioned a kind man waiting to embrace her, but instead she was met with a sea of unfamiliar faces bustling past without a glance. The excitement that had filled her heart moments earlier began to dwindle, replaced by a gnawing sense of disappointment. With every tick of the clock, her anticipation turned to doubt. It felt as if the vast Montana sky was mocking her, stretching endlessly above while she remained rooted to the ground. People hurried by, laughing and chatting, oblivious to her plight. Elizabeth's heart sank further. She clutched her suitcase tighter as she realized she was truly alone in this wild frontier. Desperation clawed at her, and for a fleeting moment she considered turning back. But deep down, she knew she had come too far to give up now. Elizabeth's heart felt heavy as she stood in the bustling town, a stark contrast to the vibrant dreams she had carried with her. The laughter and chatter of townsfolk surrounded her like a sharp reminder of her solitude. She felt small and invisible, an outsider in a world that moved on without her. Shame washed over her like a cold wave. She had hoped for love and acceptance, but was met only with indifference. As she glanced around, the unfamiliar streets seemed to stretch infinitely before her, amplifying her sense of isolation. Her suitcase, once a symbol of new beginnings, now felt like a burden weighing her down. Elizabeth took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing thoughts. She knew that this journey was just beginning, but the path ahead seemed daunting and filled with uncertainty. Yet, amidst the despair, a flicker of determination ignited within her. As Elizabeth stood lost in her thoughts, Caleb Bishop observed her from a distance. With a rugged appearance and a past shadowed by misdeeds, he was a reformed outlaw who now sought redemption in the small Montana town. He had come to appreciate the simplicity of honest work, but witnessing Elizabeth's struggle stirred something deep within him. Caleb couldn't help but admire her quiet dignity amid her turmoil. While others hurried by, he noticed the gentle grace with which she held herself despite feeling abandoned. Memories of his own hardships flooded back, and he understood the weight of shame that often buried one's spirit. Moved by her plight, he felt compelled to step forward and offer help. In that moment, Caleb saw not just a lonely woman but a chance to connect and perhaps begin his own path to healing. Caleb stood at the edge of the crowd, torn between his desire to help Elizabeth and the fear of judgment from those around him. His past as an outlaw lingered in his mind like a dark cloud, reminding him of the mistakes that had brought him shame. The thought of approaching her filled him with both hope and doubt. Would she see the man he was trying to become, or just the criminal he once was? As he watched her, memories of his own struggles swirled in his heart. He recalled the moments when he felt lost and alone, much like Elizabeth did now. Taking a deep breath, Caleb wrestled with his internal battle. He yearned for a fresh start and to make amends for his past wrongs. With determination swelling in his chest, he took a step forward, hoping he wouldn't be judged solely by his history. With determination fueling his steps, Caleb approached Elizabeth, his heart pounding. "Ma'am," he began softly, noticing her tense posture and downcast eyes. "You seem in need of some help. Would you like to come with me? I have a small place where you can stay." Surprise flickered across Elizabeth's face, quickly mingling with apprehension. She had not expected kindness from a stranger, let alone someone who looked as rugged as Caleb. Yet, his genuine offer melted some of her fear. Caleb gestured toward the simple cabin he rented on the outskirts of town, a modest structure that felt safe compared to her current uncertainty. As they walked side by side, an unusual camaraderie began to blossom between them. With each passing moment, Elizabeth felt less alone, and Caleb realized he might have found someone who could see beyond his troubled past. As Caleb and Elizabeth spent more time together, whispers began to swirl through the town like wildfire. The residents eyed them with suspicion, gossiping about the reformed outlaw and the mail-order bride living under one roof. Many wondered what could have possessed Elizabeth to accept help from someone with Caleb's past. The judgment stung, an echo of the harsh realities of frontier life, where reputation meant everything. Some townsfolk openly scorned Elizabeth for associating with an outlaw, while others judged Caleb as an undeserving man for daring to assist her. The couple faced disapproving glances and whispered comments wherever they went, a constant reminder of societal expectations and the unforgiving nature of the community around them. Yet, amidst the scrutiny, a resilient bond began to take root between Caleb and Elizabeth, their shared struggles forging a connection stronger than the judgment surrounding them. They found solace in one another as they navigated this harsh world together. As days turned into weeks, Caleb and Elizabeth found a refuge in each other's company, sharing stories that revealed their deepest sorrows. Elizabeth spoke of the loneliness she endured while waiting for love and acceptance, her dreams of a better life overshadowed by her sense of abandonment. Caleb, in turn, divulged his past, as an outlaw the mistakes that haunted him and the longing for forgiveness that drove him to seek redemption. Through their conversations, they discovered a mirror reflecting their pain and longing. Each shared experience stitched a bond between them, allowing them to heal old wounds together. The burdens they carried felt lighter when spoken aloud, and in those quiet moments, laughter often replaced tears. In a harsh world where judgment loomed, Caleb and Elizabeth found solace, understanding that the connection they were building was both fragile and beautifully strong. As the days passed, simple moments began to deepen Caleb and Elizabeth's connection. They often shared meals where the warmth of the food mirrored the growing warmth between them. One evening, over a humble dinner of stew, Elizabeth laughed as she recounted a childhood mishap involving a runaway cow, her eyes sparkling with joy. Caleb, in turn, opened up about a time he made a grave mistake during his outlaw days, revealing the fear and regret that still haunted him. In quieter moments, they sat close by the fire, vulnerability hanging in the air as they spoke of their dreams and fears. Their shared laughter and heartfelt stories became the threads that wove their lives together. Each revelation brought them closer, and in those intimate exchanges, they found not just understanding, but also a sanctuary from the harshness of the world outside. As their bond deepened, the theme of second chances began to resonate strongly in Caleb and Elizabeth's lives. Caleb, once an outlaw plagued by his past, found new purpose in his desire to redeem himself through acts of kindness and responsibility. He dedicated himself to proving that he could be more than the mistakes he had made. For Elizabeth, the warmth of Caleb's friendship sparked a newfound hope for love and belonging that she thought was lost forever. The more time they spent together, the more she believed that she could build a life filled with joy rather than despair. Each shared moment became a stepping stone toward healing, as both Caleb and Elizabeth discovered that their pasts did not define them. Together, they embraced the possibility of a brighter future, one where love could flourish amid adversity. As Caleb and Elizabeth's relationship blossomed, the tension in the town grew palpable. Whispers turned into harsh criticisms, with townsfolk questioning why Elizabeth would associate with a former outlaw. Some mothers warned their daughters to avoid her, fearing association with Caleb would tarnish their reputations. The couple began to feel the weight of the community's judgment bearing down on them, testing their commitment to one another. Elizabeth faced scornful looks whenever she ventured into town, and Caleb struggled with feelings of anger and frustration at the unjust treatment. Yet instead of allowing the negativity to weaken their bond, they found strength in each other. Each challenge became an opportunity for deeper conversations, where they reassured one another that love could triumph over adversity. They stood united, determined to face the storm together, more resilient than ever. The gossip surrounding Caleb and Elizabeth reached a boiling point when a particularly harsh rumor spread through the town, insinuating that Elizabeth was ruining her name by staying with a former outlaw. Caleb, feeling the weight of the accusations, knew he had to confront his past for Elizabeth's sake. One evening, he gathered his courage and spoke to the townsfolk at the local tavern, where the whispers were loudest. With sincerity in his voice, Caleb shared his journey from a troubled past to a man seeking redemption. He admitted his mistakes, but emphasized the growth he had achieved since then. The crowd was initially skeptical, but seeing his honesty began to shift their perceptions. In that moment of vulnerability, Caleb not only protected Elizabeth, but also solidified his commitment to creating a future away from judgment and shame built on love and acceptance. With Caleb's heartfelt declaration of his past and intentions, a shift began to occur in the town's perceptions. Although the initial judgment still lingered, some began to see the resilience in their love, recognizing the bond that had formed between Caleb and Elizabeth. Together, they confronted the challenges head-on, hand in hand. One afternoon, as they strolled through town, a few townsfolk approached them with hesitant smiles, acknowledging the goodness they had witnessed. Encouraged by this tentative acceptance, Caleb and Elizabeth stood strong in their relationship, proving that love could thrive even in the face of hardship. As their commitment grew, they became beacons of hope for others on the fringes of society. Their unwavering support for each other resonated throughout the community, slowly mending broken perceptions and allowing love to shine brightly amidst adversity. Together, they forged a path toward a future filled with promise. In the end, Elizabeth and Caleb's journey became a testament to the healing power of love and the strength found in unexpected connections. Together, they faced adversity head-on, transforming their initial struggles into a source of resilience. The townsfolk, once skeptical, began to see the beauty in their relationship as a symbol of hope and redemption. With every challenge they overcame, Elizabeth flourished in her newfound sense of belonging, while Caleb found peace in knowing he could rise above his past. Their love blossomed in the heart of the unforgiving frontier, proving that even those marked by hardship could build a brighter future together. As they stood united, hand in hand, Elizabeth and Caleb embraced not only their shared dreams, but also a community that slowly learned to accept them. Their story became a beacon of light, illuminating the promise of love and second chances for all around them.